Hello, it's Tracy Daviero here with you from Your VA Mentor, and I want to welcome you back to one of our live trainings. I'm working outside today, so our temperature is going up to like 23 degrees, which is unheard of. It's almost middle of November, so it's kind of crazy. But so I moved my whole workstation outside. As you guys know, most of the summer I worked outside and just loved it. So I felt like I needed that boost, with the weather being so beautiful, and I wanted to come to you from out here. So things have been crazy around here. I've launched a couple of group programs, and I've got a lot of partner stuff coming up. I have many things that I will be sharing with you between now and the end of the year, and also going into the new year too, trying to space things out to make some options for you, some free stuff, some paid stuff, and generally just getting back into the swing of training and being here with you in the group, and helping you get your business moving and shaking. So I know a lot of you are at the point where you are looking at sort of a January 1st-ish start date if you have not started your business yet. And so it's a really good time to pick up some tips and some information and some really good training and that kind of thing. So that's what I am looking forward to sharing with you. So one of the things that I want to talk about is expenses, because it comes up time and time again. I say it usually starts with somebody wondering how they can claim or add on their credit card charges to the client bills. And one of the things that of course, it's a business expense, and almost every time what happens is a VA asks a question, am I allowed to add this fee on? Do you add the fee on? Or, can I find a merchant that will let me process payments, credit cards online without gouging me, and all this kind of stuff. So it's very upsetting whenever you have an expense that you need to pay that you didn't really allow for. And so the advice always comes back because everybody's doing it, right? The simplest way to get paid online is by credit card. And it doesn't matter which service you use or which platform you use or whatever, there are going to be fees associated with it. Some of them are slightly lower, some of them are a lot higher, it depends. But you're going to be paying around 3%. It really doesn't matter which service you're using or what platform you're using. So one of the things that, the advice comes up that it's a business expense, and you should just take it. And I know from having been there where, I had a client who was paying me $500 a month, and I was getting dinged like $30 or $40 in fees, right? I believe that's what it was. I could do the math. But anyway, it was a lot of money. And all I kept thinking was, why am I doing this? Because it's, that money's coming off the top. I'm not even getting it because I was using PayPal as my processor at the time. And so, looking around, trying to get something else that was cheaper. In fact, what I needed to do was actually raise my rates to compensate for that. Not to say to add it to the client bill, but understanding that it's an actual business expense. And so what I want to talk about today, that's like a long-winded example, but that's okay. You get me. I haven't talked to you guys in a while here. So but what I want you to understand is that everything that you do to run your business, the expenses that you take on or that you incur in your business, you have to look at them as investments in your business. So when you're setting your rates, it's absolutely essential to include all of your expenses in the amount of money that you need to bring in revenue every month. I know I talked about this before. Go look for the money and the revenue and those setting the rates videos that are here in the group. When you are looking, I need to bring in, and I always use the same round amount, I need to bring in $2,000 a month to my household. Well, that's a net amount. So you bring in that $2,000, but you have to account for all of the expenses as well. So maybe you have to bring in, maybe you have $300 a month in expenses. Maybe you have to bring in $2,300 then, or maybe it's $6 if you're allowing for your taxes and all that kind of stuff too. Whatever that number is, you have to figure out what those expenses are. And you have to look at what expenses are good investments at this time. You don't need to pay for everything at the outset, but you do need to be prepared to adjust your rates as your expenses change. Okay, that's really important. So look at that number, that $2,000, add on whatever expenses you have that you need to use to run your business so that you're not already behind the eight ball. And so you add those on and you say, okay, instead of making $2,000 a month working 20 hours a week, and I don't know if that's, I'm just spitting out numbers, I need to actually bring in $26,000 or $3,000 a month to net that $2,000. Does that make sense? I know I've talked about it quite a bit, but this chunk that we don't talk about is the expenses, and what are good expenses and what are not good expenses. Things that you have to pay. You have to pay your taxes. You have to pay merchant fees if you're taking your credit cards online. So allow for that. You bring in $1,000 a month in credit card revenue. Figure out what, put 4% as your projection, as your budget for what those merchant fees are going to be, transaction fees and percents as well, right? What other things? Do you have your phone and your internet and any training that you take or will take through the course of the year? Budget for all of it. Like if you set a budget for yourself for training for, say, $2,500 for the year, that's pretty conservative, I think. $200 a month. If you set a budget of $2,500 a year for your training, and you add that to whatever association fees or coaching programs or accounting software, telephone, any of those things, look at all of the expenses you have and add them all up, and then divide them by 12 to get your monthly, right? So that, like I said, for the training or for the training budget, that would be $200. So add it all up, and you might end up at something like $3,200 because of the things that you want to be able to afford. But your business has to be able to pay for those things, and so you want to be able to invest in your business, but still keep your take-home pay exactly what you need it to be. So you're not going to be crazy and say, I'm going to join a $100,000 coaching program, so I need to allow for $8,000 a month in expenses. That's obviously, you're not there yet. But as your business grows, those are the kinds of things that you think of, and you think, I need to invest in my business in order to help it grow, in order to increase my professional development, because I know you guys are out there taking the same things as I'm taking, all the free stuff. There's tons and tons of free stuff, but the real programs that will get you results are the ones that are led by an instructor, led by a teacher, led by a coach. And so those are obviously more expensive. I know my paid options are more expensive, but they also get better results than just a regular self-study program or a free report or a free webinar or something like that. Not to say that those aren't valuable. I love my free stuff. I love to make it for you guys, but I also love to sign up for it. But you need to respect that you're not going to build your business as quickly as you want to, just jumping from free thing to free thing, right? The way you will build your business, and I'm telling you this actually from experience, the way you'll build your business is to latch on to somebody who has what you have, are looking for, or has had what you are trying to strive for, has the knowledge and the tools that you need and the resources, that kind of thing, to get there, and also is somebody that you relate to, right? Somebody that you feel that you can either learn from or that you want to emulate or something like that. So I have a number of business coaches, and I use them all for a variety of different things because of who they are, but I admire all of them. So you need to be able to admire somebody, and so, but that's the way you're going to do it, is get in with somebody and follow their plan and stick to their plan and do the things that they tell you to do. That's what's most important in any kind of professional development like that. And these things are investments in your business, and it's the only way that you're going to grow at a faster rate or a steadier rate or more proven rate that maybe you would do on your own. So anyway, the bottom line is, whatever it is that you are spending in terms of expenses, don't think of it in a negative respect and think, oh, that's coming off of my money. Because if that's what you're thinking, then it means that you have not allowed for them to begin with. And that's where your error was. The error was not setting your rates and then realizing that, $30-$40 was going to be gone every time you accepted a payment in PayPal or through your merchant account into your bank account, whatever that is, however you have it set up. It's about you making that mistake and not allowing for that money to come off the top. So what you have to do, you have to adjust your rates. And so it's not about adding the $30 on, it's about saying, okay, let's really look at these. So, what are my rates set at? Is that the right place for my rates to be? Have I accounted for all of my expenses, my investments in my business, for the amount of hours that I'm working or the amount of tasks that I'm doing every single month? Do they make sense? Because if you're struggling and thinking about the expenses, it's a project management system, it's a time tracking system, it's a calendar, any of the things that you have to pay for in your business at the point that you need to pay for them. And I'll always reiterate that. It's really important that you don't need everything to start your business, but you do need to consider it and you do need to budget for it. So look at it from this perspective. What do I need now? What do my rates need to be now? And what do I need maybe in 6 months' time when I'm working with 10 clients and I do need a project management system and I do need, an invoicing system or a bookkeeping system, whatever it is. And I do need whatever it is. So look and see what the transition between those two is and say, in 6 months, do you have a plan to raise your rates from this to this? It's all you need to do is plan it. It's not about, at the last minute saying, oh my goodness, I actually need to raise my rates. It's planning and strategy is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, and making sure that you are going to have a plan moving forward. You want your business to stay around in long term, right? You want to always be in business and you want it to keep growing. And so the way to do that is to make really smart decisions about where you're investing your money and not thinking of it as the expenses are eating into your revenue. The revenue should have already been built with the expenses in mind. Okay, so that's why I call them investments. I want you to think about it in those terms as well. And it helps you to forecast. It helps you to set goals for how much revenue you want to come in. It helps you or how much revenue you want to bring in. And it helps you to plan for 6 months, a year down the road as you start to change things in your business. You have a solid plan and you know exactly what you're going to do, and you're not all of a sudden realizing that you're not bringing in as much money as you should. That means you've made an error in something, in setting your rates, in the amount of expenses that you're taking on at any particular point. If you don't allow for them in that rate calculation, then you're going to be behind all the time. So you want to make sure that your business is profitable. In order for your business to generate profit, you do need to make sure that you're charging enough, and you also do need to have certain things in place that will help you to run your business efficiently, right? Like the bookkeeping system or the project management system, or even your internet and all those kinds of things. And maybe the training budget is not something that you've thought of right now, but if it means that at the time that you need to purchase something you have not allowed for it, then you're really stuck. Because if you need to learn how to create packages, or learn how to support course creators or podcasters, or if you need to travel to an event because that's where a lot of your clients are, whatever, and whatever that thing is, if you're struggling to find the money for it, it's because you haven't planned for it. You haven't made that plan in advance to say, this is what I know I'm going to need in my business. And so that's what I urge you to do. So expenses as investments, look at them that way and incorporate them into your business. If you are struggling right now and you feel like you aren't making enough money, you're not bringing enough money in, look at your setup right now and see what you've left out, and make a plan to redo the math and make a plan to increase your rates or change the way you charge, if that's the other option as well. And I'd love to hear what you're doing and how it's going to work for you. That's all I got for you today. So put your questions in your comments below, and I'd love to have a conversation about this and see what maybe expenses have surprised you, or things that you're struggling with, and help you dig out of that and figure out how it is that you can move forward. So have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. Take care.